Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our last session. And we saved the best for the last, of course. We welcome Sanjay Mata. Is information security and enterprise risk professional. And you held various positions of responsibility with large global corporations such as Visa, KPMG, and KLA Plus, as well as successfully operated your own consulting and advisory business. So now you're based in South San Francisco as a cybersecurity evangelist, advisor, writer, and speaker. Thank you so much for joining us, Sanjay. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, and I hope you guys are doing well. And the fire has not affected much of your personal and professional life. So I mean, these are kind of risks that are there all the time. So I am a risk mitigator. I basically manage information security risk, and also I am an evangelist for information security. So in that responsibility, I take it very seriously, that responsibility, and I do some sessions, some one-on-ones, and so on. Basically telling people how to deal with information security, cyber security risks, and be safe on internet. And it's a very big topic. I can spend the whole day talking about it, but today let me just focus few things that I have kind of decanted from my interaction with seniors and with people who know about how to be secure on internet, but they have not learned it as a formal procedure. So I plan to talk a lot about internet, but I'll try to be at a very conversational level, not going too much into technical details. But if you guys have any questions about any technical details, then we can discuss that separately or towards the end of the session. So without any further delay, let me just go through the slides. And the topic of this talk is that how to identify online scams and be safe. And as we know, the World Wide Web, as we call it, is a complex place. It's much more complex than the physical world. And when I say that, it's because of several attributes that World Wide Web has, which physical world little bit different. But my theory is that whatever we learned about the physical world as a child, how to be safe and secure in the physical world, all those rules and all those idioms, sayings, habits are applicable to online behavior also. So we will see how that pans out. But basically, we have to learn. This is a new skill that we are learning, how to operate on internet and how to be secure. So this is not a. It doesn't come like a first habit. It is a second habit. It's acquired skill. So let's see how we can relearn. Whatever was taught to us, how to be secure in the physical world, we have to translate it into the online world, and be secure there. So nowadays, nobody can say that I don't want to be online. I mean, it's almost virtually impossible for anybody to be offline, because these are the facts that all of us are facing. Landlines are replaced by voice over IP phones, and I mean that's how it's going to be. There will be no more phones attached to the wall. WhatsApp global calls are free, and for an immigrant like me, this is really a bliss, because now I can talk to my folks in India free for as long as I want, or anywhere in the world. So that's another thing that's making us more attracted towards internet. TV shows are all coming on what we call OTT online, platforms like Netflix and Prime and YouTube. And we are now watching more and more TV on internet than we are watching it, on cable. So that's also there. And then during the lockdown, of course, all of us were banking, shopping, working online, and even marriages are happening online. Courtship is happening online, and childcare is online. So I'll always joke with my folks saying that this day is not very far when the childbirth is also going to happen online. I mean, I don't think so, but it may happen. So as I was saying that what we learned about the physical security. Okay, before I go, Tina, my voice is clear. I mean, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All
If you
right,
can slow
everything.
down a little bit, that would be great.
All right, okay. If there's any feedback, please write it in chat, and I will tune my talk accordingly. So going little slow. So what our grandparents or parents taught us at the time when we were young about how to be secure and safe in the physical world, we'll see that all those things are applicable to online world. And let me just go to this slide where let's just try to recollect some of the things that were taught to us. We were told don't talk to strangers, right? That's a kind of rule which was given to us in schools, in colleges, and so on. Don't open door for strangers. That's also one of the things that were taught to us. Don't eat any food given by strangers. And the logic there was that if the food is poisoned, or if it is used for to lure us for to do something, we should not come in the trap. And if something does not feel right, be cautious. Probably it is not right. And if you are in trouble, go to your teacher or a person in uniform, right? Keep your ticket and money safe in the train or plane or bus or whatever. Uh, and my mother always used to tell me, hold my hand if you are in the crowd. Keep your keys safe. You know, these are some of the things. Don't leave the front door open. And when you come back, tell me what you did in the school. And this was the way to monitor and find out what was actually going on. So these were some of the things that I could recollect. You can also recollect so many other things that were talked to you or told to you, or you are following intuitively. But the point is that all these things can be translated to online safety and security. So let's see, don't talk to strangers directly translates to don't trust anybody online unless authenticated. And this is very important because on the other side of your email or phone or so on, there could be a dog sitting there, like this cartoon says. um, Only 273 people know that I'm a dog. The rest can only see me, see my limited profile. And so anybody can pose a person on the internet, or another person, or can assume an identity. But there are ways and means to authenticate that person. If you can do that, then it's better. Otherwise, don't talk to strangers. Don't open doors for strangers translates into don't click on the links sent by unknown persons. Keep your internet gateway secure. So let's talk 2 minutes about what do we mean by internet gateway. Uh, we let internet come into us through few gates that we open deliberately. One is our mobile phone, of course. It's open to internet. Then through our Wi-Fi, we open Wi-Fi to get the signal and to go to internet. It's a two-way door. Then we have cables, we have our telephone, we could have other means of connecting internet, but we should recognize that each of these ways actually is a gate. Anything that can go out can also come in, and vice versa. It's a two-way gate. We don't open the gate for strangers, meaning that the internet gateway should be secure, should be such that strangers should get eliminated at the gate itself. So the basic rule is that if you don't let the bad person in, then you are at least that much secure. But then a bad person may lure you to come out of your gate, come out and do bad things. So you have to be careful when you are out and about. So when you are on internet, you are actually leaving your place where you are, and you are going virtually into somebody else's space. So you are basically leaving your area of comfort and security, and you are going somewhere else. So always think in terms of where you are. When you are on a website, you are on an external website. It's almost as good as visiting a person going to their house. Don't eat food given by strangers. Don't get lured by strangers offering baits for ransomware. So one very common way of luring is that first give something to you so that you gain confidence, and then do some harm. And one example which happened recently to a friend of mine, he got a call from somebody he did not know, but this lady was very pleasant, and she started talking to him in his his native language and said, you overpaid a particular transaction. And so this guy, he said, why didn't you log in and look at your statement? You paid $80 for this particular transaction, but actually it was only 65 or something like that. And then this guy looked at the transaction. He said, if you are saying so, then might be true, but I was charged, $80. So she said, I'm going to send you a refund of $15. And don't do this, check your transaction and this and that. I'm sending you some stuff that you can look at it and see how to be vigilant on your charges and so on. So this guy, okay, he said fine, and he promptly got $15 through Zelle. And later on, she called again and she said, you got your money, be cautious, this and that. And then nothing happened for a month. And then suddenly he got another call. And this lady said, what are you doing? This time you have, you are overcharged $250 or something like that. And let me get you a refund, but now I need some more information from you. And she asked for a social security number, for his account number, and so on. And lo and behold, this guy gave his identity to this lady, whom he did not authenticate. I mean, he did not know her, did not authenticate her, and for 250 plus $15 that she spent, she got this person's identity and probably sold it for $1,000, $2,000 on darknet. So this guy had to fight to get his identity back for almost like 6 months, and finally he got his identity back. But I'm just saying that these are the kind of things that you can hear more and more, where people are luring you for a little amount and then stealing money from you, like in the second cartoon, which is on the right hand side. The good thing is that the government has got a site called ic3.gov. You can go there and you can check. There are ways you can, if you are basically somebody swindled you, or you are a victim of a crime, cyber crime, you can go there and you can report it. You can also get some information about each kind of, we call it attack patterns. So there are various attack patterns that these people are using. So you can learn about it. And it's a very rich site. You can get a lot of information and also authentic information. So I would encourage you to go to this site if you have not seen that, ic3.gov. So if you are a victim, then there are places where you can go, like Internet Crime Complaint Center, Federal Trade Commission, FTC. You can go to your local school administration. Cyber Cell is of course in India. But there are every country has got their own way of tackling the crime. But if you are in trouble, go to a teacher or a person in uniform translates into going to the authentic place and place your complaint or your case, register your case. Keep your ticket and money safe. So again, there are so many internet commerce sites and different portals where you can buy stuff, but not all internet banking, internet commerce sites are equal. So you should not buy and trade. I mean, this is a basic rule from unknown sites, and keep your credit card transactions safe. Now, this is easier said than done, because we are using our credit card online all the time. And the only my rule of thumb is that don't give your credit card number to a portal or a service unless you are 100% sure that it's a authentic, valid, honest service. The holding hands in crowd is equivalent to don't get intoxicated on social media. Just keep anchored. Just don't keep on pouring your information, your pictures, and so on. One thing that I can tell you, that when you crop a picture or a photograph and post it, there are ways and means to get the original picture back. So you might be hiding your desk, hiding something by cropping the picture, but believe me, there are ways of getting your original picture, and there could be more data exposure from the picture than you actually intended to do. So please, when you are posting a picture online, be careful what you are posting, how much you are posting, and so on. Let me see, there are some chats. It is somebody is asking ITC Gov. No, it is IC3, 3 as a number. Yeah, somebody gave this. Okay, and If there are any other questions, please ask me on chat. Thank you. So keep your keys safe translates into keep your password, digital identity safe and private. And this is very important. Your password is very important. Although I know the pain of keeping different password of different length and different complexity, and then changing them every other 2 months, 3 months, whatever is the required frequency. But the point is that if you are not having a multi-factor authentication, which means that your authentication is done only on the basis of your user ID and password, then believe me, password is very important, and you should not mix the password between your financial transaction and your social transaction. So I always keep those separate.
Sanjay, what's the best practice for passwords?
So the thing is that each site has got different requirements, but it has to be complex. It has to be more than say 6 characters long. 8 characters is better, and it should be something that nobody should be able to guess easily. And another thing is that so what I do is that I take some song from my time, some pop music or something, and I just take every second character of each word which is there or something like that, which makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to anybody. You can also use some randomizers to create a complex password. So there are different means, but as far as the guidelines are concerned, it has to be complex. It should have at least one capital character, and it should have some special characters in it, and there should be some numeric. So it should be a combination of alphabets, caps and small, as well as the numbers and special characters. Once you have this kind of combination, then it is hard to break it. And there are password crackers in the marketplace where they keep guessing your password, and there are dictionary attacks. There are different kind of attacks where they try to find your password. And that's how you may be seeing more and more attacks, like somebody's contact list is hacked and your name is there, and you start getting all the phishing attacks. So what happens is that if I don't use a strong password, then I am creating not only problems for myself, but also for others who are in my contact list, because they will start getting the phishing attack. So a lot is riding on password. So be careful about that. Yeah. So there are some comments. Let me just go through it. So somebody is asking that how do you keep your internet gateway safe? So we'll talk about it. So basically, there are different ways of keeping your Wi-Fi secure, your mobile phone secured, and so any other gateway that you have got. So we'll talk about it later in the discussion. So just please wait for it. Another person is saying, what do you think of long auto-filled password like Apple suggests? So the thing is that you can have a Chrome suggested password, you can have Apple suggested password, and they keep it in their own repository, which is quite safe. I mean, it is safer than any other security vault that you can think of. But again, think of one risk which is there, that you have got all your passwords at one place, and if somebody can get that access to that, then all your passwords are gone. So it's a question of whether you want your passwords all separate and inaccessible by any means, or you trust a third party like Apple or Chrome or any other gateway, and you say, okay, you keep it encrypted, and I trust your encryption. So it's a judgment call. I don't think there are very many breaches which have happened from Apple, vault. But still, if there is a third-party tool like LastPass or something, I mean, LastPass is a very good company, but I'm just saying that now you have to trust a third party for your password. So yeah, I mean, if there were strong security, and if you are happy with that, then there is no harm in it. But I would be cautious. So I would rather keep my password in such a way that I can recollect them. I don't have to write them down. and they're complex. And when I change it, the way I change it is I just change some characters there every time, and I know I have got a system of changing it, so I don't forget my password easily. But the problem is that you have got so many passwords nowadays that sometimes you have to write it. If you have to write it, then write it in such a way that only you can understand, nobody else can understand. Like I have got my scheme of telling myself which character is capital, which is not, and that scheme is the way I write it is. I think that it's not easy for somebody to break it. They can still break it. The thumb rule is that don't write your password anywhere, but it's easier said than done. So yeah, it's a balance between security and availability. So you have to make a judgment call there. There's no right or wrong decision there. So the last part is that when you come back, tell me what you did in the school is actually very important, because if you have got log or a chronicle of your activities, then if you have to go back to find out what could have gone wrong or what really went wrong, you could find out. So logging is very important aspect of security. So are the video cameras, or those cameras that you see in in-house camera or spy cameras. They are very important because you get a trail of your activities. Okay. So now the question is that connecting to internet. So let's see. We have got routers, Wi-Fi. We have got mobile device, tablet, laptop, and we go out to browse websites. We get messages. So something is outward, another thing is inward. Email and messages we are getting, and then we have social sites. These are the common gateway to internet, and each one of them require different set of security, rules or security, I should say, measures. So let's see the most common gateway that we have got, which is Wi-Fi and router. Now the router is such an interesting piece of equipment. It looks like any other box or any other equipment that we are buying from a third party. Generally, when we buy something, somebody comes, installs it, and then we forget about it. I mean, how many times we refer a manual of a fridge or a oven and so on. Once we start using it, we get used to it. The router is a little bit special because there are settings in there, and you could have insecure setting and you could have secure setting. So you have to understand a little bit. So when the router comes, it comes with the factory settings, and you may have the administration password, maybe admin, and there could be no password or some very easy password. You have to actually connect your laptop and change the password. If you have not done that, then you are running your router in an insecure manner. Again, if you have given a name to your router or your Wi-Fi service, which includes the name, or your name or your home address, that's not a good practice, because somebody can trace you or somebody can trace your house directly through your Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi address that's broadcasted. So, like my Wi-Fi has got a name which is Akashvani, which means something to me, but it doesn't mean anything to anybody. So you could have a name which is very different from your house number, your house address, your name, and then you have to use a strong password, as we discussed. And if you can do that, you should have a guest Wi-Fi, which is separate from your Wi-Fi that you are using for yourself and your equipments. And why we say so, this is what we call segregation. And you want your guest to be playing in one pod, and you want to play in another one. You don't want those things to be mixed. And this is something which is not very difficult to set up on your router. Most of the modern routers give you this facility. It's just a matter of looking at the manual and doing it. Also, if you can check what kind of protocol your router is operating on, the advisory is that you should use WPA3, which is a very secure protocol. Earlier protocols have got some known vulnerabilities and they have been hacked. So this WPA3 is the best protocol that you could use. If your router is using WPA2, you are somewhat okay. But if it is anything other than that, you have to be careful, and you should upgrade your router and use only the secure protocols. And by secure protocol, meaning that the degree of encryption or the power of encryption is such that it is not easy to break in. So um, also your router comes with many services, and if they are not using services like remote access, so you can actually do some administrative work on your router through some remote access while you are away from your home. But if you are not using that service, please shut it down. And if you are going more than one day, on a vacation or anywhere, uh, you may think of shutting down your router. I mean, the point is that there could be some services like your camera or your security services which are running on your router. If not, just switch off your router and see if all the services are still running that you want to them to run while you are not there. And if that's the case, then my suggestion would be to shut down the router. Don't leave it on while you're away. This is something which is to be on the overcautious side, because you don't want something to happen while you're not watching it. But in any case, this is something that you may consider, or you may just let it go. But these are some of the best practices that we suggest. And there are some other which are in-depth ones, and we can always discuss those. But if you are doing this much, at least you are a little bit better off than you were before. The same thing is true for mobile security. So your mobile phone comes with the settings, and you can have very secure setting or you can have less secure setting. The issue with mobile phone is that it is no longer a phone. It is actually a mobile computing device that's much more powerful than some of the earlier computers that I used to get trained or I was working on. Right now, the mobile phone has got so much of computing power, and so much is happening there. So many applications are running that you need to consider it like a mobile computer rather than just a phone. And it is connected to internet, Wi-Fi. It is always on. Some applications are running all the time. You have got if your applications are the tracking is on, then somebody might be tracking your movements and so on. So the point is that mobile security is a very big area, but you can divide it into several portions. One is your mobile device security, which is if you lose a device, what you can do, like can you remotely wipe your data? Can you shut it down? Can you trace it? Can you just make it just like piece of junk, or you can just remotely wipe everything which is there, including your application and so on, or you can just wipe your data. So there are many settings there. The point is that your device, first of all, it has to be physically secure in your possession all the time. But if you lose, then what happens? And you have to basically ask these questions to your provider, to yourself, and there are settings that you can use. If it is an Apple, iPhone, then you can go to your settings, and you can keep, you can change it according to your level of risk appetite. Some people, but there are a few things which are very important. One is that your mobile device should always be password protected. You should not use it without any password. And mobile password is not as strong generally as your laptop password is. So there are 2 or 3 gates in mobile security. So one is that your mobile phone should not be switched on without any password, and that password could be moderately strong. But then each application you can have some passwords, and you can have not only the password but also multi-factor authentication. Like all my mobile finance and banking applications, I have got this OTP, which is one-time password, and I'm sure you guys must be using it. And you can get out of band a one-time password that you use to basically connect yourself, your device, and your identity to that particular application. In the security world, we say there are 3 things that you have to authenticate: what you are, what you have, and what you know. If you have got these 3 things, then you are strongly authenticating somebody. So there could be a private secret between you and me. I say that, every time we meet, this is our secret, greeting. That is only known to you and me and nobody else. And then there could be something that I have got, like a piece of a currency note or currency, bill, that half of it I have got, half of it you have got. So every time we meet, we match it. And third thing is that you look at me and say, yeah, I recognize this guy is Sanjay. I know him. So those are the three things. If you do that, then you do strong authentication. So anyway, this is something that we say that these are the things that do you know that if your phone is up to date. By this I mean that do you know that you are running the latest version of software? Is your phone automatically getting the updates, or you have to do it, and so on? So this is just one question. Second is your mobile password protected? Password protected, that is strong. So your mobile password is strong or not? Is your mobile device traceable? Can you trace it back if you lose it? Can you find out where it was last used or where it is there right now geographically? Can you trace it? Then can you remotely wipe data on your phone if it is lost? Have you turned off broadcasting when not using? Broadcasting meaning that you may have a Bluetooth setting, and it may be your phone may be broadcasting and saying, okay, I'm available for connection. But if you are not using Bluetooth, why announce your presence, and why let other devices connect automatically? So you can shut it down. There are many services that if you are not using, it's better to shut them down. What is the privacy setting of applications and connected applications? So this is somewhat important now because each application comes with its own private setting. And you need to find out what are the privacy levels that this application is using. And if you are allowing if one particular application to use your photos or your contacts, what kind of access rights are you giving to that application? Because all these applications are getting connected at the back end, and you can find out what kind of permissions you have already granted, either knowingly or inadvertently. So you have to make sure that those privacy settings are up to your level of satisfaction. And so when I'm saying this, you can see that a lot depends upon you as a user, how you want to use these services. You can use it in a very insecure manner, or you can use it in a secure manner. And more applications and services and social sites are putting that responsibility onto you, saying that, hey, we are giving you options. It is up to you to use the security. And that one can argue that this is not fair. These devices should be secure by design and by nature, not by usage. But that's how things are right now. And if you are using a free app, there's nothing free in this world. We know that. So when you're using a free application like Google or LinkedIn or Facebook, be aware that these free services are given in lieu of you as a product. They are using you as a product and getting your information to basically trade and make sure that they get their revenue. So you will get unwanted advertisement, you will get unwanted traceability on yourself, on your activities, and so on. So just be aware that there's nothing free, and security compromises are easy when somebody offers you something free, because you may overlook few things there. So having said that, this is what we are opening the gateway. So Wi-Fi is opened by us. We are using it. Mobile is opened by us. So this is what we say, the push technology. We are pushing our stuff outside. We are also pulling stuff inside. But the browser is something which is, we all are using browser. And browser again has got different settings, and we use browser to browse internet. I mean, this is the nature of browser, that it gives you capability to go and say what's there out there, which site I can go, and so on. And there are websites which are good. There are websites that are bad. There are websites which are set up because of bad intentions, and so on. So the question there is that if we are going to a website ourselves, how do we know that we are going to the website that we wanted to go? We are not redirected to any other place, or how do we know that it's good? It has got good reputation. So they are tools, and there are many tools. So I've just given some examples here. There are first thing that you need to know that the site that you are going, the reputation of that site is good. What you can do is that you can go to sites like Trend Micro. This is one of the companies which give you online protection in terms of virus protection, in terms of your device protection, and so on. So they provide some free services. So this site safety.trendmicro.com is a service that you can go paste your site name there, and you can get the reputation. So, for example, I have this is my company, frictionlesssecurity.com. So I have gone to this ssltrust.com, and I have given my company name there. This is my company's domain name. And I said, find out whether I'm using the right kind of certificates, whether I have got a known vulnerability, whether I've been hacked before. So you make use of all these companies which are there, this green, arrows. So they have done checking on my site, and they have given me green, 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 and finally this green here, which tells the user that at least there are no known bad things associated with my site. So if you're going to this site, you can be assured that yeah, this site is okay. Additionally, if you go to my site and you see a lock on the internet address when you visit that site, then it means that the site at least has got a secure protocol that the site is using. So any site that you want to do any financial transaction, whether it's a bank or a financial institution or an internet commerce site, you need to check whether there's a lock there or not. And also, when you see a lock and there's a small black lock that you can see on the address, you can also click on it, and you can get more information about the security, that what kind of internet setting this site is using, what kind of cookies this site require. Cookie is something that sites use to give you a session connection. So what happens is that when you browse a site, when you come out of it, the session is closed, and the site kind of loses the contact with you. So they cannot maintain the contacts unless they leave something on your machine, so that next time when you come, they have the contacts and they know who you are and they know your preferences and so on. So they leave what we call cookies on your site. And anytime somebody is leaving something on your machine, they need to get permission, or either implicitly or explicitly. So you need to know what kind of cookies this site is leaving on your machine. And cookies can also be used to infect your machine, to attack your machine, to use it for bad intention. So you have to be careful about what kind of cookies people are using and leaving on your machine. So that's a whole lot of a different topic, and we can talk hours on that. But the point is that by clicking on the lock, you can get more information about the site, and you can get more. We call it all these things are trust factors. So when you say that I'm going to this particular site, this is for example, is a Wells Fargo site, and I know this bank. I have been dealing with them, and I know that I have gone to Wells Fargo site. I know that nobody is intercepting me. There's no middle man in the middle attack, and I can be secure, and I can be doing a transaction with all my faith and so on. So when you do that, there has to be some trust factor, some basis of your trust. So these are some of the bases. You know that this site is using secure protocol. This is the site which has the logo or the looks which I am familiar with. I know that I have gone to the right site because I have checked it before, and so on. So you have to develop this kind of habit of checking these sites before you give your credit card number, before you do any financial transactions, before you buy anything there. Okay, so there are some questions here. One question is 10 micro. No, it's actually Trend, TREND, trendmicro.com. And this is not the only site. There are many sites where you can do the checking. You can go on internet and say, how do I check a website reputation? And you will see 10 or 15 different engines that can help you. And most of them are free. But again, what can be used to do verification can also be used for attacking. So be sure that you are using services which are authentic and which you can trust. So I trust Trend Micro because I have used them in the past. I know them. So I trust them. But I'm not saying that you trust any site that you find on internet and just blindly trust. You need to have the trust factor. And one of the trust factor is reputation. Second is recommended by a person whom you trust, and so on. So you can have your own trust factors, but uh, without that, don't use anything. Now I'm switching gears and going to email security. So we talked about the what kind of behavior we should have online. Second thing was how to open gateway and make it secure. And third thing is email or messaging, or any of those services that we are using to communicate, and so on. How to make sure that our communication is secure. And when you look at an email, how do you identify that this email is a spam or it's a phishing attack? So just a little bit of background. So phishing emails are those which are basically like when we do phishing, we have got a line and we put some stuff that attracts the fish and they get attracted, and they come in the trap. So phishing is a trap that is set by a bad guy for you to take it. And spam is something that somebody is just sending tons of emails trying to trap you in a bad trap. And they sometimes succeed when we inadvertently click on it or do something that they want us to do, and so on. So when we look at the email, okay, let me back up. When you are getting an email, your email engine should be such that it should eliminate a very obvious spam or a phishing attack. The better email engine you are using, the more elimination it can do at the gate. But no email engine is perfect, and this is a matter of tuning it. So if you tune it very hard, then you start getting some of the mails that you should have got in it. They were not spam. But if you tune it little low, then you start getting more spam. So it's a not an exact science, but at least you can expect a certain amount of elimination of your phishing and your attack emails at the gate. But this is the eventuality that you did get an email which kind of went past the first level of defense. So when you look at it, there are certain attributes of the mail which you can look at it. You can look at the address from where it has come. You can look at the tone of it. You can look at the way the message is written, and so on. And there are certain indicators of spam. One we discuss is that free stuff. Other could be that somebody is trying to make you angry. They may try to make you defensive by saying that this mail is coming from IRS and you owe money. And so, I mean, we have all seen these kind of attacks. But these attacks are getting very sophisticated now. They are becoming more and more in such a way that it's difficult to find whether it's a real attack or it is a genuine email. And in each of these cases, there are some thumb rules. One is that don't get agitated by the looks of the email. Email is what we call a unsynchronous or non-synchronous communication. You don't have to respond immediately. Somebody has sent you something, you have to send something or do something on it. Don't just click on anything in hurry. You have to take some time. And any information that somebody is seeking, you have to obviously see whether it's a confidential information, whether it's needed or not, and so on. So this is a poster which is given by the security defense security service, and this is just to educate people about the phishing. So you can go through it. I can share my slides later on. You can see this in your leisure. But some of the emails I want to show, and this is you might have seen these kind of emails, but look at this email. This has come from somebody, helen.mac, and this was actually, I received it on my office email. And I do know Helen, so I thought that this email is coming from her. Only when I looked at the email address, I said, oh, this is not her email address, because she always sends me email through her office email address, never never from her Gmail account. So that was my first, red flag. Second red flag was that she has never addressed me subject like, my dear, I have been trying to locate you. why would Helen try to locate me? Because she knows where I am. She knows physically where I am. She knows virtually where I am. So this was second red flag. And then she is just sending a email address which is different than the email address which is there, which is different than the email which I know. So this is very loud and clear. But there could be some email which is coming from Helen because somebody might have stolen her email. Somebody might have stolen her identity or her contact list. And that email might be coming from her email account. And that email might be written in such a way that Helen writes to me in that tone. And also because both Helen and me are on social site, the hacker might know some of the things that are known to only us. And the hacker may start the email saying that, remember the time we had in LA, very good time, and because on internet I have posted something that tells the hacker that Helen and myself, we were together in a conference. So all these things are there, and the hackers are using those to basically configure a attack, which is more and more sophisticated. So earlier the emails were easy to find out whether they were spam or not. Now they're becoming more and more difficult to find out. That's the point. And there are some emails like coming from apparently from your tech support or from your equipment warranty portal and so on. And they could be very convincing. And when you click on something, then you might be going to a website which is a trap, and you may give information which may go somewhere else than you really intended it to go. And you are in the trap. So be careful. All sorts of emotions are being used right now by the spammer and phishing people. The important thing is that you have created a secure space for yourself by doing all the things right password, right setting on Wi-Fi, right mobile security and everything. And the spammer can just break all these things by letting you come out and then do something which is like clicking on some site, which is a trap. And all your defenses are, because you are doing this action and you are coming out of your secure area, if you like. So that's the intent of a hacker, to bring you out of. Again, there's a message which is coming from a close friend, and the whole purpose of this is this hacker wants me to do something, and when I check, I say this is a spam. And the best thing is to delete the spam. Don't do anything. Never click on it. Never do something that the hacker is asking you to do. And one thing that is very important is that check it out of the ban. So if I think that this guy Manjeet Singh has not sent me this email, it has come from a hacker. All I have to do is pick up my phone and call Manjeet and say, hey, did you send me an email like this? He said, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. I know it because out of band. Why out of band? Because if I use the same channel to communicate, that channel is already hacked, right? Somebody has already hacked that channel, so they might be listening. And again, this is being on the side on the side of being overcautious. But you always check authenticate out of the band, not on the same band. So these are some of the thumb rules. Be aware of spam, first of all, read more about it, go on internet, gather information. And again, there are some sites where they give you a sample of spams which are happening right now, currently. So these spams are not random. They are kind of configured for our kind of people. So they are targeting profiles, they are targeting people, they are targeting each individual. So all these attacks are cataloged, they are monitored, and you can get more information about those. There are some unknown, of course, there are some unknown attacks which have not happened, and they are always configuring new and new attacks, but you can get more information if you are aware. Then be careful of what you put on social media, because what's out there is out there, and people can access it, whether your setting is friends only or it's a very close group and so on. There are always chances that the information, once it is on internet, is out and about. And don't provide any clues to crack your password. Your password should be very secure, and it should not be such that somebody can guess it, like using your birth date or your house number or your wife's name or something. I mean, those are not really secure passwords. Always check the source of the email, and whenever somebody asks you to click on any link, ask few questions to yourself. Why should I click it? Why this person is asking me to click on it? What will I gain if I click on it? And am I clicking on the address which I think that the address is there? So ask all these questions and don't ever click in haste. It's not going to give you any good results. And always block the suspicious sender. If you find that somebody, although they always camouflage, they change their IP address, they change their name, they change their email ID. But whenever you find that somebody is a known spammer, block him or her. And the purpose of spamming is to get access to your private information, your banking information, and your financial information. So the spammer is always after something tangible. They are not, most of the time, sometimes they're just bothering you, but most of the time they want to get something. There's a tangible gain. And your health data, your banking data, your personal data is very valuable to not only to you, it could be valuable for others. And if you know that there is a other side of internet, which is the dark side of internet, there is a lot of trading which is happening. And so that's a place where your and my data could be traded as we speak, because your and my data could have been compromised, which we may or may not know. So be careful of the identity theft, the theft of your financial and so on, and so on. So I hope you never have to see this kind of screen. This is the kind of screen you get when your system is locked for ransomware, and somebody is asking for ransom in lieu of giving you a key to open the computer again. So what happens is that they gain access to your computer and start encrypting your files. Encrypting meaning that they are basically make it non-readable, and they have the key to open or to basically unencrypt your files. And they say, give us some money in cryptocurrency or in real currency, and we'll give you the key. The thing is that these people are hackers, thieves, people with bad intent. So how can you really trust them that they will give you the key, right key, when you give them the money? You don't know. You may give the money and still they may not give you the key. Second thing is that they already have access to your data. So how do you know that even when they give you the key and you get back your data has not gone to the bad sites? The data might already have been compromised. And third thing is that if you start giving them money, then they may start asking more and more. They may in their list, they may say that, oh, this guy has paid us money in the past. So he or she may give us money later on. So the advice there is that don't give them money just like that. Don't come under pressure. You report them like any other bad incident. You report to police, you report to cyber police, and so on. And try not to give money to these people. Avoid giving money, because your money could be gone and your data may be gone. So I hope that you don't have to see this kind of screen, but this is something this happens when you are a victim of a data breach, spamming attack, and ransomware attack especially. You can see that this particular screen is for Golden Eye ransomware, which is a variant of ransomware. So ransomware is not just one attack; there are thousands of attacks under this whole attack pattern of ransomware, and there are different ways of people attacking you through email, through USB, through social media, and so on. So each ransomware variant has got a different attack patterns. But if you are cautious, if your online behavior is defensive, then you are. It's almost like if I drive my car, if I go out, I have got the same probability of getting hit by a drunk driver than somebody else. But if I am driving defensively, which DMV suggests, then my chances of avoiding the incident or coming out alive from that incident are much more. So we have to be defensive on internet, so that we at least do what we call the hygiene factors. We are making sure that our hygiene is good on internet, so we are secure. Second is that we have to be cautious up to the point of being a little bit suspicious, and paranoid is not the good word, but a little bit suspicious of each activity, and being cautious. and try to avoid the pitfalls and roadblocks. And if you do get hacked, because all of us can be in an accident, then what to do is very important. Uh, you can't prevent every attack, so you have to consider recovering from an attack, and that is something, it's almost like CPR or first aid and so on. So we have to learn that art of how to recover, how to respond to a particular attack, and how to contain it, and then how to recover. So if you want to learn more about it, and if you are interested, I can provide you more information. But this is my last few slides. Social media safety is very important. What you post on social media remains on social media for a long time. Very difficult to get out of it. So don't put your any content that you don't want to share in public. Be careful that your information is not used in any other way than you originally intended to be. Posting anything, videos and photos and things like that. The more information you are sharing, the more vulnerable you are. For example, how you look, how you probably going to be look like when you are 80 years old. And there are applications which are fun applications. They say just click on it and we'll tell you how you're going to look like when you are 80 years old. And you say, okay, let me try it out. It is fun. And what they're doing is they're collecting information about your face. And if you are ever using your face to open your screen, they have now information about you progressively going to 80 years of age. So be careful what you are sharing. It could just be a pure fun, and I am all for fun, but it could also be used against you. So be careful. There are other 10,000 examples. This is some of the things that I do as a cyber citizen. And we have discussed most of it, keeping a strong password, using different password for different purposes. So I don't use my, for example, Facebook password is not the same as my banking password. They are different, very different. And I change my password regularly. I do not post sensitive information online. All the information that you can find about me are something that I really intend to share with others, not something that I say, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Do not click any links without checking the reputation of the email source or the site or the website. We have discussed that. Take regular backup of, okay, so this is very important. Your laptop, you have to remember when you have taken the last backup of your laptop or your machines, your servers, or your mobile. Because in case of any ransomware attack, you may have to go back to your backup and restore your data. If you have got your data backed up properly, which you can restore, then you don't have to worry about getting the key from the ransomware guy and restore your files again. So getting backup is very important. You should always check your credit rating. I do that all the time. I get some free services from my banking and my other institutions where I can check my credit rating. So I can check maybe 3 times a quarter. I don't know how many times, but whatever privilege I have got, I check them always and find out how I'm doing on credit rating. So what happens is that if somebody is using your credit card or your identity, you may get your credit rating drop, and you have to investigate why it has happened and so on. So be very careful about your credit rating. And I have I have got insurance against my digital identity theft and credit card transactions, although all the credit card transactions are secured by FCA, by financial institutions. But I still prefer to get the insurance so that if there is any problem with my identity, then I can get it back. I encrypt my laptop hard disk and the thumb drive that I use. I always encrypt it, and I do not trust anybody online. My theory is only trust when I verify. I don't trust anybody, and I don't install any unwanted, unauthorized application on my mobile and my laptop. And I keep checking the inventory of my applications all the time. So these are some of the things that I do. Maybe you can, depending upon your, okay, somebody is asking me a question, how block? I really don't know what it means. So Carol, if you can tell me what you really mean by how block, then I can answer probably. These are some of the posters that I use when part of my responsibility when I was working for KLA and Visa and other companies was to basically educate our employee base for security. And I used to use these kind of posters from DSS, which is Defense Security Service, and other sources. You can get them on internet, and these are just some suggestions there that you should not share your secret. Always use hard to guess passwords. Passwords are like bubble gum, So these are some fun slides. You can go through them in leisure. If you've got any questions, okay. So the question Carol is asking is how to block senders beyond sending to junk. So sorry. So there are ways you can right click on the email and you can say block the sender. So your email engine will block that person. Put it in the blocked list of senders, and you will never get any other email from that particular sender. Now this doesn't safeguard you from the sender who can change his name or her name, or use any other email address or any other IP address. So you have to keep on blocking unwanted people. And this is an exercise that you may want to do it or may not want to do it, but I always block the known. So it's like saying that some known risk that I am aware of, I should block, so that the unknown risk I can tackle. So you are reducing your risk surface, but you may choose to do that, and or you may not choose to do that. It's up to you. Okay. I have a landline because of mountains cause a dead zone. Recommendation. So the landline itself is not bad. I mean, it's good. You should have landline, but the landline is also being used for attacking by hackers, like your mobile phone. Mobile phone is less susceptible for your junk calls. Sometimes the filtering method is better on the mobile phone. But nowadays, you may observe that there are equal amount of junk calls coming on your mobile phone than on your landline. So just by nature of that being landline is not a problem. But you have to be careful whether it's a landline or a mobile line. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. This has been very informative. I learned a few things too. It's funny. I feel like the last 2 years, we've just been bombarded by these phishing and just email scams and text scams.
Right. And we will see more of those and more sophisticated, more complex attacks, which are basically some attacks which are happening through email, coupled with the same so same guy is kind of penetrating through different channels and combining those attacks to gain access to your data. So more attacks are in the making because we are using remote computing, remote working, and so on. So if I'm a conduit to my workplace, then my laptop, my machine, the way I use internet becomes very important to my company, because then I become a conduit and attack goes there.
Right.
So you can expect and see more and more attacks.
Thank you so much, Sanjay.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I hope we had more interaction. Maybe later on there could be a physical session and we'll have more interaction.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.